I think the biggest scare for me was when COVID happened. I was like, seriously, I just started. And I mean, I was really scared I would lose all my students in the first term when I told them go online. But thankfully, I found a way to just do it really seamlessly. And I didn't have any dropouts, which was a miracle, really, I think. But yeah, had its stressful moments, but I am very thankful to have been on Top Music Pro. It was very, very, I went to Piano Pivot Live in a very providential and pivotal point.
Of course.
And yeah, it was the best thing ever.
Welcome back to the Topcast, your weekly home for inspiration, lesson ideas, and support for your music teaching studio. I'm Tim Topham, and you're listening to episode number 205, and a very special welcome to all the Top Music Pro teachers out there. In today's episode, we meet the delightful Mary Chalaby, another of our wonderful Piano Pivot Live 2020 delegates, and find out how she's been coping over the last 6 months. In fact, we'll find out that she hasn't just been coping, she's been absolutely thriving, and I'm sure you'll be swept along with her passion. Find out why she started 2020 with 0 students and where she's been able to grow to so far, and some of her big plans for the future. Today's show notes and full transcript are available as usual from topmusic.co/episode 205. My guest today is a pianist, teacher, music arranger and event manager based in Brisbane, Australia. She teaches at her music school, Koala Keys Music School. She has a passion for sharing her love of creative and high-quality music making with her community, both through teaching and performing. Well, Mary Chalaby, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you could join me.
Oh, thanks for inviting me, Tim. I'm so excited to be here today.
Well, I'm a little bit jealous of you because you're in Queensland, which is a little bit further up Australia than I am for those in other countries. And, of course, you guys are able to move around a bit and travel and go to cafes and restaurants. Yeah, while we're more.
You look like you're sunnier than we are today, though. Like we're quite gloomy today.
It's not too bad. Well, look, just going back, we met at Piano Pivot Live because you're one of our fabulous delegates up there. And ever since then, I've kept in touch with you and been watching what you've been up to online. And you've just been doing some phenomenal things and putting yourself out there, trying new things, building, growing. I know there's some rebranding that's happened recently and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really keen to dig into how it's all come about and even what might be next for Mary's studio. So can you start just with a quick introduction of yourself and maybe a little bit about your own musical background too?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I am Mary Chalaby. I live in Brisbane. I run my music school, Koala Keys Music School, and my music page, Mary Chalaby Music. So I think my first memories, my childhood memories, were of me wanting to play the piano. It must have been in my DNA or something. So I would go to grandma's house and just try out the piano and see what it's like. That's like a 3-year-old. And I formally started lessons when I was 8. And I had the most amazing first teacher who picked up right away that I was able to pick up things by ear. And she taught me so creatively, playing by ear, playing chords, making my own arrangements. And that was just a fabulous start for me. And then, 18 months later, till the point where I graduated high school, that became a very bumpy road as far as lessons goes, because my family pretty much moved every 2 years, would move to somewhere else.
Oh, right. Was that because of your parents' work?
Yeah, Dad's a doctor, so he had a lot of different positions over his career. Well, finally he settled in Queensland. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've lived in like 5 different cities, 2 countries, 9 different houses, and it's just been crazy.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, so high school after that, we were in Queensland, but up until high school, I was all over the place. So as far as music lesson goes, it was never consistent. And I had like the biggest 3-year gap where I was pretty much self-taught. The first 3 years after leaving my first teacher, I was totally self-taught.
So how old were you then, Mary?
I was about 10.
So 10, 11, 12-ish.
Yeah, I was totally self-taught from that. And I think I managed because my teacher taught me how to improvise and create music and explore chords. And I taught myself how to read 4-part harmony. And yeah, it was super fun. Actually taught me all the formal way too, which was also very helpful. But yeah, just having that initial start was really great.
Yeah. So just going back, what age did you start?
I was almost 8.
Almost 8. So, but that's only 2 years. This teacher must have been utterly phenomenal
She was.
Done that
She
much in 2
was.
years. And to be
Yeah.
honest, I mean, let's face it, that is quite unusual for a first lesson experience. You hit jackpot.
Yeah, I was just really very fortunate to have this first lesson experience because the teachers after that were just I landed with some teachers who were almost killed my creativity or tried
Mm,
to, and
mm.
others who just made it happen. So I think my high school piano teacher was the next one who really, Margaret Topfer. Unfortunately, she passed away a few months ago. But she was one of my biggest mentors and inspirations, and really a true friend, to be honest.
Mm.
And then out of all the 14 teachers, I mean, everyone was amazing and I learned something. And then finally, in my final year at UQ, I got Max Olding from my teacher.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was, he was very instrumental in setting me on like the path I'd take on psych weighted. And so I definitely had some amazing teachers along the way. And at first, I always thought it was a big disadvantage that I kept moving. But like now, as a teacher myself, I think that was the best training ground for me because I kind of got firsthand experience on what it was like to teach with so many styles and ways, and it developed from there. And yeah, so yeah, now I have finished my degree at UQ, went through the formal way, but then I decided to do something creative with my honors, and I did the art of piano arrangement, specifically applied to church hymns. So that was fun.
Right. And actually, that's a great segue because I was going to ask you about your Facebook videos. You regularly post videos. It seems almost daily. I don't know if it is, but that's what it feels like.
It's weekly.
You make me feel like I should be doing lots more of you performing and just playing beautiful hymns and musical arrangements. What made you start doing those?
I always felt like I wanted to be online and share music with like just put it out there and share with others, not just keep it to myself, kind of thing, and just in my own circle. And my family and I have I'm one of four girls, and we're all musical in some way or another. I'm the only nerd who continued to do my career, but we've been performing together in like Christmas concerts and school and awards nights and church since we were like in high school. So it's been something that we've been doing together for a while. And I think our grandma was a big inspiration, and things like, I don't know, the Von Trapp great grandkids who used to do that, their four kids too, and they did it. And the Goddard sisters, yeah, we had so many inspirations along the way. But sharing it online pretty much started last Christmas. I decided I'm just going to do a project where I called it the 12 Days of Caroling, where I was the 12 days of Christmas, I'd arrange one carol. Either I asked my friends to request or I just chose the ones. And every day, no matter what was happening, I would sit there, record something. And it was just so much fun seeing how everybody really enjoyed that as well. And I thought that was something really cool. But then it kind of just stopped. And then it started again when everything went online. And because my sisters and I were very involved with the church music band, it just kind of stopped because we had three churches combining for one online meeting. So the rosters became less frequent. But it was good because recording it was harder work. But then we started recording again. So I started just sharing from my own church Facebook group. And I thought, why is it just there? I should just share it with everyone. So it's just become Sunday hymns at home. And sometimes I play other stuff. And yeah, it goes from there.
It's really lovely watching you and your sisters as well. It's like the whole family thing.
Thanks. We love doing it together and sharing it.
Yeah. So how old were you when you first started teaching piano?
Straight from high school, I started about 18, 19.
Okay. And so how long now have you been running a teaching business?
Well, 10th year teaching,
Yep.
but this is my first year running my own business.
Right. Okay. So the previous 9 years or so, were you teaching for other teachers or in schools or something like that? Or you just weren't thinking of it as a business as such?
It was never a business. So this is the first year it's been a business. So in the beginning, just the first years before I went to I took a few gap years. I was just teaching a couple of friends and my sister, my baby sister. I had a baby sister then. And that was it. So up until last year, I was working full-time at music schools, teaching up to 40 students a week, and it was full-time. And then, yeah, I just stopped that, and here I am now.
And so when did you, or was there a catalyst for you thinking more of your teaching as a business?
I think it's something I've always wanted to do. Like, it's always been something I knew I was going to do, like start my own school. It was just about finding the right time to do it. I definitely didn't want to do it while I was at uni. So I graduated 2 years ago. So it was something that definitely wasn't the right time to do when I was, going through all the assessments and stuff. So that was so
Absolutely.
convenient to be in a school. And that was a great way for me to also develop my learnings, my teaching style, and develop my own, musicianship, and discover who I am as a musician and teacher before I put myself out there. And yeah, I think I discovered that in a very smooth way that way. So that was really good. But then, you still have to like comply with the mission of whichever school you're working with and everything. So the law school was probably the best I worked in, but it definitely wasn't just totally me. The mission of the school was pretty much exams, competitions, Stedfords, and high standards was like getting A pluses all the time, which was super great. And I had a great set of students, but I just felt like the weirdo if I wanted to be a bit more creative, like in a concert when I put certain backing tracks to my students playing, they're like, okay.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, I want to just spread my wings a bit more and just like teach that, and I still do, and it's wonderful. But even those who are doing this kind of very traditional classical music lessons, they still do lots of creative stuff with me, and then the kids who don't want to do it, and they're learning music and creating beautiful music still. So
yeah, I mean, as it should be, just flexible to suit the student.
yeah.
But I mean, the thought that people would look down on a concert or a lesson more creatively, it's a bit sad in so many ways, I
Yeah,
think.
definitely was.
So you've been a Top Music Pro member since January this year when you attended Piano Pivot Live. So I'd love to find out a little bit more about how things might have changed for you over the course of that time. But maybe let's start with 2019. That was your first formal year of running your music business. What challenges did you have perhaps that led up to you attending that conference?
So actually, I started my business 2020, so January 2020.
Oh, right. Literally this year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I resigned in December last 2019, and I've been following like your blog and your YouTube channel and for a while, and I was quite intrigued by everything for quite a while. So I was kind of like sitting on the fence to join TMP for a while, but I wasn't quite in yet. And the idea of going to Melbourne, it was my first visit to Melbourne, so I was very excited about that. I love traveling and just being in a teacher's conference. I've been to a lot of workshops here and there, but I've never been to a conference before, and it was all piano related. So it was just, yes, I'm doing this. I kind of wanted to give myself a treat after I resigned and working in schools for so long. So I just decided, yeah, I'm out. And it was the same time I decided to resign. So I kind of wanted a nice fresh start as well. It was the best thing I ever did to myself starting, especially seeing where everything led to in 2020. So yeah.
Absolutely. And what was that experience at PPL like, Piano Pivot Live, that is like for you?
Piano Pivot Live was just like incredible. I think that was the first time I was in a community where I felt like I was really at home, and just, yeah, I really felt like I fit in perfectly. There's just a perfect balance of creativity and diversity in teaching, but then you're not letting go of the high standard and quality of your teaching. You're aiming for both at the same time. And I kind of always thought I was weird trying to think that I can do both at the same time. But then I'm like, wow, this is actually everybody here is doing it. This is amazing. So it was just suddenly feeling really, really at home. And yeah, it was an incredible experience of making new connections and actually meeting in person a lot of the team who's on TopMusicPro, and yeah, connecting with people I already knew who went there as well. And it's been really the best part of the year so far. And I think it will still be in December.
That's so great to hear. For someone who's never used or experienced Top Music Pro, the membership, can you explain a little bit about how it works and how you use it?
Oh yeah, well, it's got so many features to it. It's like, you mean like what the website looks like and everything?
Yeah, or in particular, what is it that you do when you go on and use the site? What do you find most useful to you, and where do you go, and what do you look at, and that sort of thing?
Yeah, so pretty much like when I started going for Top Music Pro membership, I felt like I was quite on top of where I was with my teaching style and my teaching resources, or I thought so. And what I was struggling with most was the business side of things, especially because I decided to do it so quickly, like just get it up and running in a month. So I felt quite
just no small little goal there. That's just bang,
I think
straight
that's
into
me.
it.
I sit on the fence for too long, and then I just decide, okay, I'm doing it, and it just has to happen quickly.
Out of interest, how many students were you teaching at your school at the end of 2019 before you just said goodbye?
I was up to 40 students.
Wow.
So it was a full-time, full-on job. I had no life, and it was an hour's drive from my home as well. So it was just, and I was doing event management and admin there as well. So it was huge.
Right.
Yeah. So it was a big move.
Anyway, so I interrupted you. We're talking about the business side of things.
Yeah. So just suddenly, like, I'm good at maths. I think I would have been a mathematician if I wasn't a musician. So it wasn't more like can't count or can't do that sort of thing, but just having to do everything quickly and figure out a system quickly and just get around all that was just overwhelming for me. And at first I felt like I knew that was the right step to take, but I also felt quite isolated once I left, because I've been in a team of teachers for so long, and just suddenly finding myself on my own. And it was just, I felt really out of place at first, and like, I'm not going to be okay. And I tried to get involved on Facebook groups and everything, but that wasn't cutting it out for me either. So I think I was really looking for that community. And yeah, when I'm on Top Music Pro, like when I go on now, at first when I got on there, it was like a wow moment. Like in Beauty and the Beast, when the Beast took Belle to the library, and she was like, wow, is this actually real? And like a little overwhelmed, like in a good way. What shall I do first? Here, this is so amazing. But then just narrowing it down, okay, what do you want to, like, pretty much just professional development. What do I need most help in? And right now it's just on the business side of things. And then just finding that there are so many resources here for creative music learning, and everything was just on all the discounts that had made me like able to include much more in my studio than I would have been otherwise, was really great. And just the forums, like I haven't asked too many questions yet, because every time I want to ask something, I go on the appropriate forum, because they're all like category based, and which is super helpful. Like you don't have to get lost and everything. And they're like, oh, somebody's already asked that, and I read all the comments, and it's really exciting. And yeah, and what else have I used? The thing that kind of gets me is the little introduction at first, all the scrolling, what's new on the, like when we first enter the page, there's this
at the top of the dashboard.
Yeah, the box that has what's all the new stuff. And it's almost like YouTube. You enter thinking, I just want to check something, and then you get caught watching all this other live workshops. So that's been actually really fun, just watching all those. Yeah, and I think it's just been both helping me with the business side of things and finding more resources and things like that, but also helping me build a vision to what I can do, which I probably never thought of doing. Like I started working on my own curriculum because I felt that this was the best way for my professionalism to be. So I started doing that because of all the content I was getting, and just thinking about myself as a business, not just as a teacher.
I wanted to let you know that you can still get access to our Piano Pivot Live virtual lounge. Now, this features high-definition multi-camera recordings of all our speakers on stage, some 10 hours plus of it, including the workshops, the live teaching, the improvising, the interviews, everything you need to continue your development through the second half of this year. So listen out at the end of this episode, where I'll be giving you a discount code to give you 50% off access to your virtual ticket. That's half price, only about $60. And you'll hear from Mary in this episode just how valuable the Piano Pivot Live experience was. This is the last chance that we'll be offering these, so do grab that discount when you can. Find out more at the end of today's episode. And how has the looking at your whole vision and the creating of the curriculum, have you seen that play out in your own students and your ability to teach them and know what you're doing and not be so perhaps stressed or worried about things?
Oh, wow. It's just been like, it's being in the Top Music Pro has already been such a stress relief on me, because I feel like I'm really supported if we have to face any new challenges, like, for example, going online.
Of course.
I was at first on Facebook groups, global Facebook groups, where I was getting all the negative information about what's happening and everybody stressing out, and that was like really stressful to just see it all happening across the world and think that it's coming to us too. And then having this, like, Piano Pivot Live is always Top Music Pro is always positive. It's just always positive and just gives you the solutions. So Have I diverted from the question?
No, I'm loving it.
No.
I'm just
I
enjoying the
don't even know
conversation.
what we're
It's
talking.
fabulous to hear. But the thing I'm really picking up, Mary, is that when I think about with the other places that teachers could go to get support in their studios and their business, one of them is Facebook groups. Of course, it doesn't cost any money, but as you've expressed, there's something missing. It doesn't have that same sense of community, and you also end up with a whole lot of negativity, regardless of how well the
Yeah.
groups are moderated. Would that be a good summary of what you said?
I definitely like I'm on probably 3 or 4 of them right now and they're great. Like I learn a lot from that but it does tend to be very mainstream. So the regular things like the teacher parent scenarios or somebody's not paying their fees or this is happening or that's happening. So and then you get the one-off really great discussion started there and it's great. But on a general sort of thing it's usually on the more negative side of the spectrum. And that's what I really enjoyed about Piano Pivot. What am I saying? Top Music Pro.
It's all good. I know one of the other things is that a lot of teachers are concerned about investing in things like more subscriptions for their professional development. How do you go about justifying the cost of things like this? And I know you're in other paid groups and you do courses and things like that too.
Well, I just find it more of an investment in myself as well. So I find it also helpful when I think of time as being precious and how much time and energy and wasted time will I end up wasting if I have to figure it all out by myself, if I have to go down the track of being on my own and not having a support group and, not being able to find what I want or know that I have a solution to whatever problem that might come up my way. So that's definitely how I justify it to myself because it's just been amazing. I don't have to struggle and do it all by myself anymore. So it's not just like an expense, but an investment in not just your business, but also in yourself. Because then I don't think, for example, I would have been able to have a life and be able to produce music and create music like I do if I was working double extra on my business. So it definitely makes even your own life more productive and more meaningful and spend time with your family and your loved ones and all the way around is just a more fulfilling experience to run a business rather than have the business run you.
So we've talked a little bit about how your studio you had 40 students at the end of 2019. You then had 0 at the start of 2020. You came along to Piano Pivot Live at the end of January. And what I'm keen to know now is, how does your studio look at the moment? You might be teaching back in person. You obviously had a period of teaching online, but tell me about your students now. How many have you got? How are you teaching them?
Yeah, so yes, we did go online for almost 16 weeks. That it did include the holidays. But yeah, I started the year with 0 students, but I managed to start the term with 2 students. So that was fun. I was very happy that I opened my doors on day 1 of the term.
So we're going back to the first term, are we?
First term, yeah. So starting my business.
So you started with 2 students in February.
Yes.
Can you remember how you found those students, Mary?
So one of them was from church. And the other one found me on the online music teaching website.
Right. Which website was that? Can you remember?
It's called Online Music Teachers.
Okay, great. So you just had a free listing up on that?
Yeah, I had a listing there and that was it.
Fantastic.
Yes, and then from I had done a Facebook marketing course in January that wasn't even music related. And that's, I think, the other thing that I really found amazing about Top Music Pro is that it's all music related. And that Facebook group, it did teach me how to get around doing the Facebook marketing thing, but it was all focused on selling products and things that weren't really applicable to me. And it didn't work out for me. And I felt very weird marketing in that way, and it just didn't work. So I did get a few students from that first Facebook ad that I did. Newspaper ads flopped. I didn't get anywhere with that, and they were super expensive. And then, I did the Facebook course on Top Music Pro.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah. And that was all about just for piano teachers.
Yes. I was like, wow, this is so different than the other one. And I feel super comfortable marketing myself that way. So it was super helpful. And it's just been growing from that. I probably did 3 ads in the past 6 months and, word of mouth, people from church. And I'm nearly up to 30 students now.
Wow. Congratulations, Mary. That's extraordinary.
Yeah, it's definitely been faster than I thought it would, but yeah, it's
Good
been
on
great.
you. And
Thank
what's the
you.
goal? What's your capacity for yourself with your own numbers to teach?
Sure. So right now I'm a home-based studio. I live with my parents, and they've kindly let me use our living room. So at the moment, because of the size of the room, and probably also because of the recent restrictions with how many can be in a room, I can't really teach group lessons here. So right now it's all one-on-one lessons, and I teach only 4 days a week. So obviously I can still open up Fridays if I wanted to, and Saturday mornings if I wanted to. So I probably could go probably right up to 50 students here if I wanted to. Not that I'm really keen on going that far yet. At least not one-on-one. I
Sure.
am like with especially watching what Paul Might does with group lessons. I think I started considering that because I always thought I can't put creativity and high standards together. How can I teach one-on-one, not one-on-one, and still achieve that? But it's just been amazing seeing so many options available that could work. So I am considering doing group lessons in the future. I am like one of the biggest projects I'm doing right now is to like I've just recently changed my name,
Yeah. I love the new name. It's great.
Yeah, look, I've got the koalas
Yeah.
here.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Koala Keys Music Studio. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I've had a childhood obsession with koalas, and my first kindergarten class was called Koala. So it's just been part of me for
That's great.
forever.
Yeah, that's really good. So that's been a process that's been ongoing for some time. I know from personal experience how tough rebranding anything is.
Yeah, well, thankfully it happened pretty early on. I started myself as Mary's Minuet Music Studio, and I think I just wasn't asking myself the right questions. Those two names were existing in the beginning of the year, and I went with Mary Minuet Music Studio. And I think I was trying to merge in my musician artist side of things and the school together, and
Mm.
it just didn't go at the end. And I decided no, they have to be separate. So that's how it happened, and it's just been a steady process of changing that before it becomes too set in stone, which is probably easier than if I'd already done my website and everything. So thankfully it's early on, so it's not that hard. Yeah, but I'm right now just working very hard at my own curriculum because it's definitely helped the student retention and motivation of students, and just the overall impression when I get new students coming in. It looks all in one pack and neat and tidy, and everybody's super happy with it. So yeah.
So when you're talking about a curriculum, people listening, are they going to be picturing a series of books, as in here's what you teach all your students through the first few years, sort of thing? Is that what you've created?
Yeah, so it is basically like the bread and butter of what they're learning. And then we incorporate all sorts of new ideas and creative things and games and all that sort of thing. But at least for their notation reading, their theory, everything is just in this one place. Because what I wanted to teach, how I wanted to teach was pretty much in 10 different books.
Right.
It looks very disorganized, and when I keep pulling out books and I can't tell the parents, yes, this is a book you need to get. So it just became a process of me creating something that is consistent and just works throughout the whole process, and we just keep adding creative stuff to that. But yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Is that it's a huge job, I'm sure. Is that something that you might share with other teachers in the future or sell down the track?
I feel like I will be. I'm at this stage where I have 15 students on it right now, and it's going super well. And I'm just in the they're helping me write it as well, because I go I think I should change that, or I should do that. So the first step will be to make it a success with my students and makes at least a few of them go through it and find that it really worked, and then hopefully maybe get other teachers to try it and see how they go. And yeah, I'd love to. It's probably a several years project, but it's exciting.
Well, you're doing the right thing by putting students through the testing of it, because they're the best the best way to work out.
They probably don't know that they're the guinea pigs.
No, but that's okay.
I know exactly what I'm doing.
Because they will give you ultimately very, very clear feedback. Kids don't hide much. So yeah, well done. Congratulations on starting. That's an epic project. I know that it will be a huge benefit for you in one way to make your teaching easier, but also it's a marketing thing for your own studio. You can use it as a differentiation. You have a bespoke, a particular way of teaching, and this is specialized, and here's why it's so important, and you can only get that with koala keys, that kind of thing. So, do you have aspirations at all to expand to have other teachers working with you at all?
It's definitely something I started thinking about. I think I got into the business always thinking it's always just going to be me. And I think I'm quite happy to try that out for a while. I just started it's definitely not in the near future, but it is definitely something I'm not, I am considering doing that. But I think after having been in a team working in schools for so long, I kind of have a very good idea of what my ideal team would be. And I would want to do it really well. I might definitely consider getting somebody on board with the admin side of things sooner than I would a teacher, so that I could devote more time to other things that I want to do, like, publishing my music or an album or something, like whatever. That, that would be probably the first team that I would start on board, probably.
Yeah, no,
But
it makes
definitely,
a lot of sense.
especially, I teach a little bit of violin and flute, only up to intermediate level, and my thinking is what's going to happen when they overpass that and I want to pass them on. Shall I get somebody on board, or shall I
Handball to another teacher. Yeah,
we'll
good
see.
questions.
Yeah.
Oh, so much stuff going on for you, Mary. I love it. And I can't believe that all this has happened in 8 months or thereabouts. Like, it's just
Yeah,
extraordinary.
and I think the biggest scare for me was when COVID happened. I was like, seriously, I just started. And I mean, I was really scared I would lose all my students in the first term when I told them go online. But thankfully, I found a way to just do it really seamlessly. And I didn't have any dropouts, which was a miracle, really, I think. But yeah, had its stressful moments, but I am very thankful to have been on Top Music Pro. It was very, very, I went to Piano Pivot Live in a very providential and pivotal point.
Of course.
And yeah, it was the best thing ever.
That's wonderful to hear. Well, look, I'll wrap things up in a moment. I'll definitely get you to let us know where people listening can find out more about you and your music and things like that as well. But just a couple of quick questions as well. Can you remember in the last 8 months, did you have any, or even at Piano Pivot Live, were there any real sort of aha moments where the light bulb went off and you went, that's the thing that I've got to do, or just done that and that's made the biggest difference? Can you think of any particular things like that?
I think it was just the realization that I'm not alone in what I wanted to create. I think working in music schools can be very confining after a while. And I tend to be a person who doesn't fit into the box very easily. And I always thought that doesn't exist. And I don't know if I can make it work in both worlds that I'm trying to create. But just suddenly finding myself in a community that is all like this, I was like, look, it actually works. So that was definitely one big moment for me. And I personally feel like I had an aha moment when I saw how Paul Might does group lessons, because I've done group lessons with theory, but I never considered that could work for me, because I'm still very hard, technique, getting a perfect technique and high standards in the music is still up there for me, such as so is creativity. So I've always felt they can't blend. I can't do it. So I think, but I always like the social thing and seeing kids together and doing music together. And so I was thinking, yeah, I have to choose. But now I'm thinking, maybe not. Maybe I can do this, when the space allows me to one day.
Absolutely. And final quick question, any advice for other teachers out there listening who they've probably been listening to the podcast for a while, they've maybe heard about Top Music Pro, they're a bit on the fence. What would you say to them?
I think just try it out. I think also with the level of memberships you've got on now, it's just so easy to try it out and see what do you think? You might find that's not for you, but I don't think that will happen. But just try it out for a few. I don't know if you do weekly or monthly, whatever you do. But I just went for the year, because by the time I decided, I knew it was definitely where I wanted to be. But people sitting on the fence, it's so easy just to try a little bit and see how you go. And I have a feeling you'll stay there for a long time. And yeah, just try it. It's really great.
And you get to hang out with cool people like Mary. So come along and join us.
The community is probably one of the best aspects of the whole thing.
And the great thing is that the community is available, even as you mentioned in our light plan, access to the forums and all our expert teachers, get your questions answered.
Yeah, and it's global as well.
That's right.
Really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, so it's been just awesome to hang out with you, Mary. I've just got such a buzz, and I'm sure the listeners will have too. Where can people go if they want to find out about your studio or your own performing, those kinds of things?
So I'm both on social Facebook and Instagram. So the studio is Koala Keys Music School, and my own musician page is Mary Chalaby Music. And I'm in the process of getting my website out sometime, but definitely those two social media platforms are always there.
Cool. Well, do check out our show notes for this episode. We'll put Mary's website links if she's got them up by the time we go live, and certainly her Instagram and Facebook profiles. Definitely check them out, because it's just lovely seeing her play so effortlessly these beautiful tunes. It's like a little 3-minute stop in your day. You can just go and enjoy Mary's playing. So thanks so much, Mary. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you, and congratulations on everything you've achieved. You are just going so well. Keep it up.
Thank you so much for having me, Tim. This was so much fun.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's interview with Mary. What an inspiring young teacher she is, and I can't wait to see all that she develops and creates over the coming year or two. Now, you heard Paul Myatt mentioned a few times. He was one of our keynote speakers at Piano Pivot Live, and so if you'd like to see Paul's presentation, the one that Mary talked about and that inspired her so much, we've got that limited offer available, 50% off Piano Pivot Live virtual tickets. So you can grab that today. You'll pay just $64 with the discount code PIVOT50, PIVOT 50. All you have to do is go to pianopivotlive.com/virtual and use that discount code on the virtual ticket link. So that's PIVOT50 for 50% off. This is the limited time. Last time we'll be offering access to our virtual lounge. Next week on the podcast, we are so excited because we are formally launching the Top Music Marketplace. Now, you may have heard about this because a few episodes ago, when we were chatting to Jennifer Fox about online summer camps, she mentioned that she's a seller and has some of her summer camp curricula on the Top Music Marketplace. So there's a little bit of a tease there, and a number of people have jumped on board and have been browsing and indeed buying some of the goods already, which has been great for us to test the systems and make sure everything's working. But as of the 1st of September, we are going live formally, globally to everyone. And so in next week's episodes, you'll find out what we've created, why we built the marketplace, what kinds of things you can buy there, and how indeed you can become a seller. I'm also going to be featuring some little snippets of audio from a number of our sellers who are super excited to be joining this launch and telling us a little bit about what they're offering. And we will indeed be giving everyone a little discount if they want to come over and start browsing and exploring the marketplace. So stay tuned for next week. I'm super excited to be finally giving you all the details. I'm Tim Topham, and you've been listening to the Topcast from topmusic.co. Can't wait to see you next time. For more information about this episode and to find out how to enhance your own teaching, visit topmusic.co. You'll find everything you need for your studio, from lesson plans to cheat sheets, quick win teaching ideas, and guides on how to build your teaching business. Plus, you'll be connected to a global community of the world's top music teachers. And when you're ready, join hundreds of other teachers around the world by becoming a Top Music Pro member and get access to all our bonus content and flagship courses. And don't forget to follow topmusic.co on social media and subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to it. That's all for today. We'll see you in the studio.